Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Lauren Cielo from Golden Rose Psychic Services.
And I'm Crystal Heinemann from The Psychic Soul.
Welcome to the Metaphysical Q&A podcast,
where we are making metaphysics crystal clear
and golden delicious.
That's right. So Metaphysical Q&A is an audio and video platform where we're hoping to shift the way each human views their experiences that they're having here on Earth.
That's right. As professional clairvoyant healers and teachers, Crystal and I have created this platform to help explain in easily understood terms all of your daily life in metaphysics.
That's right. And our viewers and listeners supply the questions. Of course, we can't have a podcast without you. So if you have any sort of burning metaphysical question, please submit your questions over to metaphysicalqa.com. And of course, you can find us on YouTube and anywhere you receive your audio podcast from. And we hope that you please subscribe, please rank, please review, and share our podcast. We want to get it out there.
Great. Well, so Crystal, what are our questions for this episode?
Great. Well, we have 3 really great questions for today. So let's get started, shall we?
And the winner is...
Here we go. Okay. So question number 1 comes from Angus in Seattle, Washington. Hello, Angus. We're so grateful to have you on here. So now Angus asks, I've heard the term Inner Galactic Being in human form before. But what does that really mean?
Good.
I got angel bumps with that one. All right. So question number 2 comes from Phil in New York City. Hello. Shout out to you, Phil. We're so grateful for you. So now Phil asks, I have the feeling I'm not really from Earth. How can I be sure? Here we go.
Excellent.
Question number 3 comes from Leslie in Vancouver, British Columbia. Lots of Pacific Northwest. Hello. I've known since my childhood that I came to Earth from some other place in space. But how can this information help me in my daily life? So I think there's a theme here like usual. How about we call this the metaphysics of inner galactic beings?
Ooh, I like that. And Crystal, I think we should bring in an expert to help us with this topic. And I have a sneaking suspicion that you may know one.
Of course I do. Of course I do. And I'm so happy to have a guest expert because this is really beyond my scope. Of course, this is something that I'm just becoming interested in as well. So I can't wait to learn. And I know the perfect person for this. Now, it's going to be, of course, my good friend. She's been my healer for years and years, Emalani Malea. Now, she is such a beautiful soul. Her vibration is just, she has so much information of multidimensional stuff. I'm just going to say stuff because it's like there's so much to talk about. So now Emalani is a internationally known psychic. She's a spiritual coach. She's an intuitive. She's a hypnotist. She works with quantum healing. She does meditations, and she's now created and moved into Inner Galactic Beings. Now in 2016, she was voted one of America's top 50 psychic mediums. So she is amazing. So let's bring on Emalani today.
Oh, I love that. Excellent choice. Now, Emalani has experienced UFOs before, so we're going to get into some of that. And she had a near-death experience in her 40s. And that really shifted her into coming out of the closet as an intergalactic being in human form. And she helps others through quantum healing, like Crystal mentioned. And she's available for you to work with her. So let's bring her out.
Hi, Emalani. We're so excited to have you today. Welcome to our show.
Thank you for having me. It's such a pleasure. And thank you for creating this opportunity.
Oh, my goodness. Well, we can't do it without you and without our audience, Emalani. So thank you so much. We're so excited to slip into this intergalactic world with you. So thank you so much for your time and energy. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. So now Emalani and I have a bit of a history. Of course, if you're in the Los Angeles, Santa Barbara, Malibu, Ventura area, I highly recommend her work. And she was my healer for years and years. So she's someone that's very near and dear to my heart. So thank you, Emalani, for touching my heart, and Luna's as well. Now, before we get started, would you mind telling us how you got involved and interested in working with intergalactic beings?
Yeah, I'd love to. It's so funny because when I was a child, I always knew they existed. I don't remember ever not knowing that they existed. And when I had trauma, I had a pretty rough childhood. When I had trauma, I would run out in my backyard and sit on the grass and look up at the stars and say, "Come, please get me. Please bring me home." So I really had this affinity and always knew that they existed. Now, my mom had spaceship experience when before I was born. So I know it was probably talked about, but for some reason I just always knew. I just had that consciousness.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, are you ready to teach us about intergalactic beings, my friend?
I am, and it's such a vast consciousness this is. It's amazing.
All right, so on to question number 1. And this is posed by Angus in Seattle, Washington. And Angus asks, I've heard the term intergalactic being in human form, but what does that really mean?
Angus, what a great question, right? That's so amazing. So, intergalactic actually means inside of your vessel. So your body is your vessel, and the consciousness that's within it is of a galactic nature, meaning otherworldly, right? So some people will call it intergalactic, but intergalactic seems like it's from another world that isn't your own consciousness. But in intergalactic, the inside being of you, your true consciousness is within your body, within your soul. And that's what intergalactic means. You're a galactic being inside of a human body of consciousness, and you can act that out here on this planet.
Excellent. Well, Angus, I was peeking at you and just seeing what your higher self had to say on this topic, and that's exactly who I'm talking to. I see you, and I look up and I see your higher self. So, and you're huge. Oh my gosh. So now, when I try to get some details on this, I think you actually have more than one body that's incarnate right now. It looks like you have about 4 or 5. I think 4. And your huge higher self it divides itself into those different life forms. So when I hear myself say that, and I'm thinking, how could that possibly help you? I think Emalani might be a great healer for you to help open your consciousness and maybe start understanding all of who you are. I'm not surprised at all that you asked this question now, and that we brought it onto the podcast for you to learn about this. So I'm just going to say, I think Emalani's your healer and a teacher, and I think you might learn a lot from her. So 4 bodies in 4 different realities. So I'm kind of thinking, since you asked this question, that get in touch with her. I think she's going to really help. So let's go on to question number 2. All right. So question number 2 comes from Phil in New York City, and he says, "I have the feeling I'm not really from Earth, but how can I be sure?"
So that's a really great feeling, isn't it? And it can be disconcerting because like I said before, there's this funny feeling in the background, right? That you're like, maybe something else is going on. What is that feeling? So to be sure, I really recommend meditation with intention. Now, there's great meditations. I have some meditations of 0 point energy where you go into the nothing, where the nothing actually reveals to you who you are. Now, my story is I opened up to it and it was told to me through a series of events, right? So you want to be sure. The way to be sure is to be open to the idea that it could be true. So once you do that and you say to the universe, show me, who am I, right? And then go into meditation or a walk, a hike, it doesn't matter. The universe, by universal law, will actually answer and reveal yourself to you because that's your intention and that's what you want. So then you have the surety because series of events happen. Like I had signs, I had people come to me, I had all these different things happen. So you want to be open to that. So the one thing, the way to be sure is to be excited rather than fearful of the answer.
Oh, I love that. I
That
love
was a great answer. Sorry,
I
Kristen, go ahead.
know. My whole body filled with angel bumps. Now that's pretty regular when you work with Emalani. So she's of such a high vibration. So Phil, I was taking a peek at you as Emalani was talking, and of course all of her beautiful words. All of a sudden your heart started to open up. So when you hear this from the podcast, Emalani is your healer at that moment. Your heart completely opens up to her information. And then you showed me as you were a little boy that it looked like your backyard was pretty vast, meaning that it didn't really look like you had boundaries in the backyard. So maybe you grew up more in a country setting or something. And you showed me as a little boy, I think about 5 or 6, maybe 7, 8, and you're walking and you're actually being led, and it's sort of around dusk time, and you're being led by this blue sphere of light that's sort of about palm size right here. And it's floating in front of you almost like a butterfly would. And you're following it out into the woods. And so this is a part of you, I believe, that you have sort of forgotten about, if you will, to where of course we all we grow up and we sort of pile on, I call adult goo on top of all of our childhood experiences to sort of protect yourself. So no wonder you're asking this question, because of course you are being led by other beings, these higher dimensional beings. And how you could, I'm going to work with what Emalani was saying when she was speaking, and how you can use this for you in discovering all of those beautiful tools that Emalani was talking about. And I highly recommend her meditation space. She really, really is able to take you deep. And I saw you as you do become Emalani's student, to where your heart chakra is completely opening up. And that's really where you're going to be able to connect to your real home, if you will. And it seems to be when you do open up your heart chakra, like I see all these different levels of dimensions that you're going to be able to access. And it does feel very step by step by step. And the first step that you're going to walk into is a real healing energy that you're stepping into. So it's going to be, of course, it's going to shift your perception, right? That's really what a healing is. And then the next phase is you're surrounded by self-love. So you're going to do some healing, and then you're going to step into that self-love, of course. And that's probably how it's going to present itself on earth, is that you're going to really feel like you've come home. So I highly encourage you to keep on the journey. So thanks for asking your question. And on to our third one. All right, so on to our final third question, of course. Now, this comes from Leslie in Vancouver, British Columbia. Hello, Leslie. We're so grateful for you. Now, Leslie asks, I've known since my childhood that I came to Earth from some other place in space. But how can I use this information to help me in daily life?
I love this question. This is what it's all about, isn't it? And what's really interesting is you're going from a my daily life to a humanitarian space. So when you connect with yourself as that being, right, then you become very humanitarian, and that's what gives you how do you use it for your life. Because the way that you use it for your life is the way that you're going to present it to others. So that could be through a healing capacity. That could be through just consciousness and living the happiest life ever. You could invent things. There's so many things. And what it does is you want to seek that inner self first, right? And then your life opens up to who you really are. And that's what takes you into that space of how does it help you in your life. So you become very conscious of who you're with, what kind of modalities that you have, healing abilities, writing abilities. You actually know who to marry, who to love, who's in your space, what places to go, what foods to eat. It changes everything. It changes the whole game because your consciousness becomes of a higher nature. And you fall in love with yourself even more because you don't have the question of, who am I? I know I'm from somewhere else, but I'm not sure exactly who that is. And what do I do with it? So what you do with it is you become you at a higher level, right? And then the doors open, other doors will open, and you'll feel so led and you'll feel so supported because you're supporting yourself and who you really are, that all kinds of signs, all types of consciousness, all kinds of doors and opportunities will open up to you, and just follow them.
That was great. So Leslie, I was taking a peek at you, and what I learned was really interesting. So you kind of grounded, or what I might say, you're trying to ground this information into the earth plane when you say, how could this possibly help me in my daily life? And when I looked at you and your higher self, from your higher self's perspective, what you are is like I don't know, like an information sensory collector. So here's your higher self, and here you are on earth, and everything that you're experiencing is shot back to your higher self. So what I thought was it's kind of turned around, right? Like, not so much how do you ground this new information into your life, it's your life is just a recording of information and energy for your higher self. So I don't know how you could not use it in your daily life, is my point. Like, in other words, your daily life is completely different than what I thought it was and what you thought it was. And that's going to make me think more about my experience as Lauren and what Lauren's doing, like gobbling up data and sending it back. Totally blew me away. Thank you so much for showing me that. Now, thank you so much, my friend, for being on our show. We're so excited, and we've learned so much about intergalactic beings and energy. Could you please let our audience know how they could get in touch with more of your work?
Yes. So my website is emalani.net. Very simple, very easy and clean. Go to emalani.net. That is my website. You can call me at 714-224-6752. I'm also on Facebook. Get on my Facebook. I have an Inner Galactic Being closed group, actually, that you can join. So get on my Facebook, become my friend. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Zoom all the time. I'm giving classes and webinars, but get on my Facebook. That if you really want to get in contact with this intergalactic self, get on my Facebook. I post daily, I do lives daily, and that would be really a great way to connect with me and let me connect with you.
Excellent. And Emalani, you were so wonderful to come up with a special package for our guests.
I sure did. So I'm offering a 4 reading package. Now it's 1 hour. You get 4 1-hour reading, and you get 15-minute support calls during the week. So it's for 1 month. You get a reading for an hour, and then you get a 15-minute support call as you need it, because I know sometimes can be a little bit daunting trying to figure out who you are. And I show up. So I show up with the best modalities that I have. I intuit you. I actually can see where you're from. I move energy. So this is one thing that most people don't understand about me, and how I've really learned that I actually become you, and I shift the energy and consciousness within my own self, and it shows up in your body. So if you have anything that's going on, misaligned energy, I actually become very conscious of that, and I transform the energy with you as you allow me to. So this is a really cool experience because you can feel it, you know it. Next day you feel like a different person. So that's it. It's $14.99 right now, which is a really great price, because if you go on my website, you're not going to get that price. But for this show and just being able to connect with these 2 people, I wanted to give you a special opportunity so you can get to know me. If you decide and you're kind of wondering, give me a call and let's have a discovery call and see if we are a good fit. And I'd love to work with you. I'm excited about working with you.
And I can't recommend Emalani enough. Of course, she was my healer for years and years and years. So I highly hope that everyone takes advantage of that amazing offer. Thanks so much, Emalani.
It's my pleasure. It's such an exciting platform, isn't it? You guys are providing such an amazing platform. And, I can feel the healing started. I can feel the consciousness raising already just doing this together. So, and it's going out into the audience, and that's what you guys do. And I want to bless you. I want to bless everybody right now. I want to bless you with the consciousness of who you really are, that your expansion in your heart opens up, and that you become that divine being of grace, of wonder, of extended consciousness. And thank you so much for allowing me to be in your space and being able to bless you with that.
Well, Crystal, do you think we've done it again?
I do believe we've done it yet again, of course, with the help of our lovely intergalactic being guest expert, Emalani Malea. We've made metaphysics crystal clear.
And golden delicious.
That's right. And thank you so much for submitting your questions. Of course, we can't have a podcast without you. If you'd like to submit more questions, please visit our website at metaphysicalqa.com or go to our Facebook page. And of course, if you're interested in my personal work, please visit thepsychicsoul.com.
Excellent. And check me out on the internet, LaurenCielo.com and GoldenRosePsychic.com. Now, Emalani, could you give us your sites again? Yeah.
Yes, it's emalani.net is my website, and Facebook is Emalani Malea.
All right. Until next episode, we'll call that a healing. Bye.
Please hang up and try again.